everyone, thanks for tuning in. JP Toys 97 here with another PAPO dinosaur figure review. I'll be honest, as of lately, the past couple years, I haven't really been keeping up with the PAPO figures they release. I have been keeping an eye and seeing what they've been putting out, but I haven't been buying nearly as many PAPOs as I once was. Like when PAPO would release their new series of dinosaurs every year, I would make damn sure to pretty much grab every single one that I liked. I feel like recently, the past 2 years, they've done a lot of repaints, and so I haven't really been buying a lot of the repaints. I've bought some, but bottom line, I haven't been buying nearly as much. But I have a real special review today. It's the PAPO Pentaceratops. This figure is from 2019. When this figure first released, I felt mixed, just because the photos in the catalog of this figure, I wasn't really sold on the pose. Some time has passed, and while I wasn't sold on the pose, the figure itself just looks so damn stunning that I had to give it a chance. So we're going to be reviewing the Pentaceratops today. I'm going to take him out of the plastic just like before. I don't think I need to cut this. It's just a piece of tape holding this bag. There we go. Come out. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Like all the PAPO figures, it comes with this plastic base to help his limbs from not being damaged during shipping. So I wasn't exactly sold on this backward posture standing pose that the figure's in. It's in a tripod stance. I know some people feel very strongly about these tripod stances and they aren't really a fan. But oh my god, the detail on this figure is truly crazy. This thing looks gorgeous. So Pentaceratops was discovered in 1921 in North America. It received its name in 1923, and the name Pentaceratops translates into five-horned face. A lot of people get confused saying he only has 3 horns, and the name translates to five-horned face. He has the typical 2 Triceratops-like horns here on his eyes, and then the one on his snout. But then horns number 4 and 5, a lot of people consider to be these cheekbones here on his side, so the name doesn't totally not make sense. He has 5 horns on his face. If you really wanted to be technical, he has a lot of other little horns and bony-looking growths here coming out of his frill piece, his crown. Ugh. I love the color choices that PAPO went with for this guy. Again, I feel like the skin color tones here are very natural looking for the most part. Pentaceratops is easily confused with Triceratops, especially by people who may not be huge dinosaur nuts and at first glance would look at these two figures and assume they're the same. But you would be wrong. Pentaceratops has a very long, rectangular looking frill. Triceratops has this more roundy looking one. But yeah, Pentaceratops's crest here really makes him stand out. It's huge. All this wonderful weathering and tones here on these bony growths out of his frill. The darker colors here on the head sculpt really work. PAPO knocked it out of the park with this guy. Look at all this detail on the back of his frill. This thing just displays so perfectly and nice on a shelf or with other PAPO dinosaurs. The skin patterns that they went with here and the striping and all is just it's eye candy to me. I've said it before. It's eye candy, this thing. Got some light shades of green and some browns and tans. It has that typical beige underbottom. PAPO tag here on his back leg. Is the PAPO clock on his foot with the tag. I really almost don't even know what to say. This thing has me speechless. My jaw is on the floor while trying to record all these little lumps and bumps that go down his entire backside into the part of his tail right here. All of his toes here are very nicely weathered, as you would expect from a PAPO figure. But what is really great about this figure in particular, you can have him standing upright like this, or if you don't like this pose, you can actually lean him forward in this stance. I think I like this stance a lot more. It looks like he's getting ready to fight with another dinosaur or something. Being able to adjust this guy in different positions like this is really awesome. I don't think any other PAPO dinosaur figure has that feature or option to pose the figure either on its back legs or have him on all fours. Or he's technically not on all fours. He's standing on 3 legs with his other leg here being raised upwards like he's going to make a charging attack or whatever have you, whatever your imagination thinks. So yeah, he's got like this downward attacking looking motion, or maybe you want him up on his back legs rearing upright like he's got his back against the wall as a predator comes along. All up to your imagination. Really gotta commend Papo like to the extreme here for giving you option to pose this guy however you want. Regardless of whichever pose you have him in, he's very sturdy and he doesn't really want to topple over. The detail here is just almost mind-boggling to me in a way. It's so beautiful. They just really went all out with everything on this figure. The sculpting work on his face, his eye just looks great. And exactly what I was talking about in the Papo Iguanodon review, where I said the figure would have benefited from just having his mouth permanently open or permanently shut. This Pentaceratops has his mouth permanently open, like he's roaring. Pretty good considerable amount of detail in there on the mouth. You can even see the tongue. The weathering here on his horns is really nice. It starts at like this light brownish bone color and then just goes and morphs into a black towards the tip. Really great, really great. Got some black here at the tip of his beak. The patterns on him are just so gorgeous. This thing is another home run by Papo. I can't believe when this thing released in the catalog shots, I was kind of questioning it because it was only shown in this pose. But then after, when you could put it down in this pose, is kind of when I was like, you know what? I'm giving this thing a chance. It looks great. When it's on all fours like this, it's about the same height as the Papo Triceratops. But of course, when you put him back, he'll be a little bit taller. One of the few downsides, I guess you could say, is when you have him standing in this upright looking pose, his feet here don't really sit flush with the ground because it has to be kind of bent upwards like that, so when you move it this way it will be flush. So you can see what I mean. It looks like he's kind of tapping his toes right here in a way, but it's really not that bad. You almost don't even really notice it. I mean, this front leg here doesn't really sit flush with the ground either, but it's good enough for stability. As long as Papo keeps delivering us dinosaur figures of this quality and detail, and I will be a fan till the end, and I will support Papo. Oh, I know sometimes the poses may not be everyone's favorite, but they're dynamic enough in my book where if you take these things out to use them in dioramas, you can get some really beautiful shots with these figures. The Papo Pentaceratops comes in at about 7 inches in length from the tip of his horns to the end of his tail here, and about 6 inches tall in this position. But of course, when you raise him back like this, he'll be a little bit taller, but not really by much. It's still like 6.5 inches tall. So yeah, that's about the dynamic range there. Doesn't really, makes him a little bit taller, but not super much. So yeah, do a couple little size comparisons here for you. I mean, we already have the Triceratops here next to him. They size up very nicely with each other. Very nicely. Like, these two things have weight to them too. So if you're buying this for a dinosaur lover or a child, best just to be aware that it's got some weight to it. His horns are a little bit sharp. Well, not sharp, but you could definitely maybe poke an eye out. Do be careful. Here's the little Papo baby Triceratops that I have, that I just never reviewed either. Sizes up with them about yay. Here's the Papo Styracosaurus, considerably smaller than Pentaceratops here. And of course, here's how the Papo Pentaceratops sizes up with the Papo Tyrannosaurus. Even if you don't like the pose he's in, just the level of detail on this thing, it's impossible for me to dislike this figure. Really don't have anything negative to say. Like, if you really don't like this pose, just pose him like that. He looks great on a shelf in either way you pose him. I think that's about gonna do it, folks. I appreciate you tuning in and watching the video. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. Don't forget to leave a like and comment down below and tell me what your opinions about this Papo figure are. Do you have him in your collection? Are you looking to add him into your collection soon? He'd make a fantastic gift. The PAPO Pentaceratops is now easily one of my favorite Ceratopsian PAPO figures. If not my favorite, then it's tied with the PAPO Triceratops. They're both really great. I'm JP Toys 97. Tune in again next week as we'll be taking a look at yet another PAPO figure.